Hi, we are starting lesson 11 right now, and these 10 sentences can pose some unique challenges because now we're looking at classifiers. For some students, classifiers just make ASL so more pictorial and it's so much easier for them to understand. And then some students really struggle with classifiers. They can be very, very challenging. They also can be a little difficult to write. It's very, very, very important that you look at all of the samples in your textbook for this chapter that show you how to write a classifier. And then a few things we want to remember. A classifier shows the size, shape, movement, or location, placement of a noun. So the majority of the time, we're going to say what the classifier is, what the noun is, before we show the classifier showing its size, shape, movement, or placement. For example, we'll use a three-hand shape to represent a car, but this is not the sign for a car. This represents any wheeled vehicle. So first I would have to say, the car zoomed past me. I wouldn't just say, well, I don't know, was that a motorcycle? Was that a semi? Was that a bus? Was it a car? Was it a bicycle? Anything with wheels. So we need to say what the noun is first. So when you're looking at these 10 sentences, first you're going to see some yes-no questions. So remember with yes-no questions, if you're reading your grammar notes like you should be, a yes-no question, the signs can go in any order. The sign placement is variable, but our eyebrows are up for the whole entire question and our head leans in. You may see a closing signal at the end of it, so you're asking the person to respond to you. You like coffee, you. The eyebrows go up, the head goes forward, and then you wait for your response. The line goes across the whole question with the question marker. So you're going to see some yes-no questions. So when you're practicing signing those in the mirror before you record, make sure the eyebrows are going up and the head is leaning in to get that response. You're also going to find some sentences in here that show have a tense in them, a time in them. We want to remember that the time always comes first. So we're going to set that time up first. Then we're going to figure out what's the sentence talking about and put that next, and then the comment on it. So we have that. Then it's those classifiers. Sentences 5, 7, 8, and 10 have classifiers in them. So you're going to have to show that classifier glossing. So you've got to use the chapter. When we're glossing classifiers, you're always glossing a CL, then you're glossing the hand shape that's being used, and then after that you're putting what that thing is representing or doing. So if I was going to say the car was going really fast, I would write the word car because that's the sign car. Then I would put CL3, and then I'd put my colon and I'd go really fast because that means car really fast. So look at how those are set up in the book. Look at the samples I have in the grammar notes. They're towards the end of the notes, I believe. You're just going to have to scan through the list to find classifiers. They're not all in alphabetical order. And look at how those are set up. Just remember with every sentence what needs to be there first. What's the first thing that needs to be there, then what needs to be there, then what, then what, then what to the end. That's how ASL is set up. In that big picture down to little picture. It's like if you were going to describe an elephant, that game where little kids play describe an elephant to a blind person, you wouldn't start with the toes. You'd start with the big picture. You'd start with the big thing and move your way down smaller. When we describe a person, we start with the big thing, the biggest part, and we move our way down to details. We don't start with the tiny little details. We don't say she has freckles. We start out with it's a woman, and then we work our way down from there. So with your sentences, you want to think of what's the first thing we have to do, what's the big thing, and then move in and in and in and in until we get to the very basic last detailed pieces of information. Okay. Once you have them on paper, once you feel you have the order right, the glossing marks in the right spot, capital letters, double spaced, labeled correctly, get those things taped to a mirror and start practicing. When you don't have a partner to work with, you need to see what I'm seeing when I'm grading you. When I turn on some of these videos, all I get is this dead face, no expression, no movement. It's just frozen, and I get hand movements. Or I get some eyebrow movements for some grammar markers, but I get nothing from the nose down, no expression. If you're going to tell me that something bad happened, I need to see that on your face. If you were going to say, oh, My dog was killed in an accident last night. She was run over by a car. You would, in our voices, we would hear it, but we'd also see it on our face. Oh, my dog died last night. It shows in the expression on your face. And we have to see that expression when you're signing. We have to. So practice that in a mirror so you can see what you're doing. And really be careful with those classifier sentences. Those are tough ones. They are challenging. So you got to read the chapter. You've got to look at the notes. If you're just relying still on looking at the pictures and trying to set up the sentences without studying the grammar notes, without watching the lessons, without reading the chapter, and paying attention to the samples that are glossed under the pictures, if you're ignoring all of that, this is going to be a real struggle. So please take the time, set the time aside for this lesson that's needed to go over those things very carefully and thoroughly so you're well prepared to sign them for me. Thank you. Good luck. I'm looking forward to your videos.